It's time to wake up, recover from last night's mess, and get your fix of sports caffeine. It's time to kickstart your day with the latest sports news and opinions. Get ready. Sports Caffeine is live in 3, 2, 1.
And welcome, everybody, to another edition of Sports Caffeine, live for our NFL Sunday show here at Raffurty's Bar and Grill. I am one of your hosts, El Bushman. To my left is Kristen, Taylor, and Kaylee. What's going on, guys? Happy Sunday to you.
2 Browns fans, a Jags fan, and a Bucks fan.
Not today.
Oh.
Not today. Not today. Yes, we're getting some feedback. Let me turn this down real quick. There we go. Okay.
Well, I just want to mention real quick how nice Taylor looks in his nice orange
He does.
Cleveland Browns jersey today.
He looks very fashionable. Very slimming on you. Very slimming on you.
Yeah, I don't lose at the pick'em, but I do. My Cowboys seem to be. Even though I pick the Cowboys to win every week, they seem to lose every week.
When you bet against other people on the show, you lose. You lost with me.
Well, not to Nick.
You lost with her.
What did I lose to you at?
The Rays having a better record than your Blue Jays. Yeah.
The ALCS
headed Rays. Yes.
Yep. Kaylee seems to lose every week at the pick'em, so I'm excited to hear her punishment today.
Just because I don't pick against my team, I'm not working.
You're not working?
Nope.
There we go.
Just because I don't pick against my team, and I don't pick for the Titans. Okay, so those are the only reasons why I'm losing every week, and I'll stand by that.
Check your mic. I think I unmuted it. You should be good now. No, still?
That was rude of you.
Oh, there you go.
We had a week off.
I know.
We were a little rusty.
It's been a while. Yes, Kaylee will be doing her punishment after the show.
What is her punishment?
I'll let her tell you.
I have to profess my love through a poem written by Evan.
It's a funny poem.
Yes.
I've read it.
Blake Bortles.
Oh,
yes.
I can't wait to hear this one.
She has
dream.
to
A sonnet.
profess her love to Blake Bortles. So, of course, we are Sports Caffeine. You can stream us on fanstreamsports.com, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Anchor.fm. Of course, you can stream us video-wise on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, and Facebook Live. So let's get into it. We are in Week 5. Let's start with the Thursday night game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Chicago Bears. And we're going to move on to this week's pick.
What a matchup of 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks, the rematch.
Who's the only one that picked that game right?
So, I think Tom Brady, we like to call him J.R. Smith now. He doesn't know what is happening in the game. That's exactly what I thought of. Like, is this J.R. Smith who thinks he's winning a game? And
the age is starting to settle in.
Maybe it's just
is it
like
the age, or is it not having Belichick?
4-3. Was it 4-3? He was doing this
Niner.
Yeah. What do I do with my hands right now? So
the memes were good the next day. He held up the 4. That's how many wins the Bears have now. That's how many shots.
I want to speak to the manager ones with the Karen haircut, and he was so mad about it.
Just the hypocrisy of him yelling at everyone about their incompetency, and then it came back to bite him in the same exact game.
He was so mad at Ryan Jensen, like it was epic.
They had a lot of bad call, or a lot of holding calls, a lot of 3rd and 20 situations.
It was not a good game overall. It was not
very sloppy.
Yeah, it was hard to watch, to be honest. And then that at the end, it's just like, what's going on here?
I'm glad the Rays game was on at the same time, so I was able to watch that game, even though they lost that game. So it was 2 Tampa teams losing on the same night. So it wasn't a good night.
They redeemed themselves, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes,
that was a great game, and then I turned it over, and the Heat beat the Lakers, and it was great. And
even better for you.
Yeah, I love it. Go Heat.
So let me ask you guys about the Bears and the Bucks game. Going forward, we got the Bucks are going to be playing the Packers, next week. They've got plenty of rest to rest up, figure out things. Is this just a small blip in the Bucks schedule, or they really have some trouble going forward? Kristen?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I feel like we brought Bruce Arians in, and he's this quarterback whisperer, and he's going to be great. And he hasn't really shown me any of this greatness. And if Tom Brady has more interceptions than he had in New England, he's looking like Jameis a little bit out there.
Hey, you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
So I think getting Fournette back was he back last week? No. Yeah. So I think they're going to need him back. They're really the running game is a little tough. The defense is good. So I need to see more, I guess. I can't get a read on the Bucks. I don't think they're a good team, though. I don't think they're But they think they can win the division because the division's not good.
And you just said that you don't know about them. That's the funny thing is that I do know about them, and I do know about them, and I know my counterpart here, Kaylee, agrees with me wholeheartedly. They're going to lose again next week to the Packers. They're going to be 3-3. They're going to be 500 or 7-9 or 6-10 and miss the playoffs.
I do think they're going to lose next week. Definitely. Yeah. Packers are good, and I think the Packers are very underrated. With no receivers, the Packers are good.
I will save my pick till next week about that game. So.
Kaylee?
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw their weaknesses get exposed, and that's exactly what I thought would happen. The Bears, they're a better defense than we give them credit for. They're a better team than people have given them credit for. And Nick Foles just getting into the groove after his first start, which wasn't looking good. I think these are just the problems that the Buccaneers have, and that's just the first time they've been truly exposed and, led to losing a game. So I think we're going to see it more. We're going to see it. It's going to be brutal against the Packers, obviously, but going forward, we're going to see it against even lesser teams than the Packers. And like I said, they're not making the playoffs. It's not happening this year. And Tom Brady looks a little lost. So now we bring up, is it the Belichick or is it Brady? And I think we're seeing he needs a lot of hand-holding that was happening for 20 years, and it's not happening now. So
wow.
I can give you right now, my dad used to come in his
Roasting
Rondé Barber jersey. I have not seen the Rondé Barber jersey this year. He's switched back to his Browns gear, which tells you all you need to know. The Bucs are done.
Brownies. Can they break that 12 years of losing in a row?
We'll get into that game in a little bit. Okay. So all good, valid points with you three.
You don't want to hear.
I do want to hear it. I mean, I watched that game. It was just they looked lost. They looked just terrible on defense. I mean, defense was looking good, and I think that one roughing the passer call late in the fourth quarter against Shaq Bear was a BS call. I think that really changed the tone for the rest of that fourth quarter by having that being called on. But yeah, they looked terrible against a very bad 4-1 team. I mean, the Bears can't be that good, right?
The Bears aren't good either.
Yeah,
I know what is going on.
Bears are going to end up around 500. I think they just their defense is good enough to keep them in games, and then they got to have some bounces go their way, which just so has happened.
Yeah, but they're going to have to play the Packers a couple times here, and once they start getting in that division,
they got the Chiefs coming up, which is
an L.
And the Chiefs don't look good.
Guess what? Great. Anyone that plays the Chiefs, it's an L.
Yeah.
Carl, the Raiders today, it's an L.
And he gives us the FU. That's okay. All right. So let's go to our first matchup. We've got the Carolina Panthers going into Atlanta to face the Falcons today. Who we got?
I mean, the Falcons are getting 4 defensive starters back, I believe. But the Panthers, man, Teddy Bridgewater, I can't bet against Teddy Bridgewater anymore. He is on pace for 4,500 yards or something like that. And without Christian McCaffrey, they're doing great. Matt Rule has really figured this out, and I saw America is taking the Falcons, like 90% of America. I'm taking the Panthers. I'm not going to bet against them again.
Taylor, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones are both questionable for this game.
Correct.
Russell Gage is one of those guys that's going to be possibly stepping up in that role as a wide receiver. And then they've also got their number 2. I can't even pronounce his last name. It's like Zacharias Octavius. Thank you, sir, in the crowd. Thank you. So, with Calvin Ridley and Jones out, I mean, do you think Matt Ryan's going to have a big day with these 2 wide receivers that we really haven't seen a lot from?
I think you definitely want to go on the over on this game because I think it's going to be high scoring. The Falcons have given up the most yards passing in the league, the most fantasy points to quarterbacks. They've given up all that sort of stuff, even higher than Seattle, which is crazy. So Ridley, I actually like better than Julio. I think Julio's kind of on the back end, even though he's still getting paid. Ridley is just one of those people that is so consistent.
Not last week.
Well,
not last week.
I mean, typically.
Definitely not last week.
I mean, typically he is, but it's one of those things.
Not what I needed him to be, but whatever.
There you go. I'm actually going with the Falcons today. I think they are going to get off the schneid, as people like to say today. I don't know why, because I like what Carolina's doing as well. Teddy Bridgewater he was 5-0 last year. He's put it together. He's very manageable. He's a very good game manager. He makes the right reads. He makes the right plays. He's also 18-4 against the spread all time.
Are you talking yourself into the?
I think
no. It's just one of those games that I can't
pumping
see.
Himself up.
I can't see the Falcons going 0-5.
If they do, though, is Dan Quinn still the coach next week?
No, he's done. He's done. If they lose, he's fired.
Kaylee, Mike Davis has really stepped into the role of the lead back for Carolina. Do you see him having another big day?
No, I think he's going to regress a little this week, and I agree. I just don't see the Falcons going 0-5. I think Matt Ryan is going to step up. I don't think Matt Ryan's going to lose another game. I think I think it's too early in the season for Dan Quinn to be outed, and I think this game might really save them. As much as I like what Carolina is doing, something's got to give, and week 5 is that time where I think it gives, and Atlanta's going to get a first win.
All right, so we got Falcons, Panthers. So we're 50-50 split on that game.
Weird.
So,
me and Kaylee on the same side again.
I know, jeez.
I'm not betting against Taylor anymore because I changed my mind this week and got screwed.
Now I gotta talk you into every game now.
All right, let's go to our next matchup. We've got the Las Vegas Raiders, Carl's Las Vegas Raiders, going against the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's right.
Any hope the Raiders pull out a W against the Chiefs? Probably not.
No, I mean, their defense is terrible. I don't know what happened to Josh Jacobs, but also, as I was saying before, the Chiefs don't even look like the regular Chiefs. They're like kind of rusty. They don't look like, and their defense stepped up last week. We always talked without Jones, right? And so the Chiefs, I'm scared of them when they actually figure it out and start really, really rolling.
Well, it's one of those things that we talked about last week where the Chiefs are playing down to their competition. And I just think like the Chiefs are just playing around with the rest of the league. They're just like trying stuff out this week. Let's try these schemes out that week. Like, the only game I saw them really open up their playbook and like do things effectively was against the Ravens that one week where they were favored to lose somehow. So this week, obviously go with Kansas City. The one betting nugget on this game is that every single game that the Raiders have played this year has hit the over. So bet on the over today, which I don't know.
Carl is actually turning us down because he doesn't want to hear our picks for this game. So
who's winning today, Carl?
Okay, he's still picking
the line is 11. He does have a bet.
I see a bunch of
going
Chiefs fans already in there.
with Trey.
Look at those Chiefs fans.
Kaylee, any chance the Raiders have against the Chiefs at all?
Absolutely not. And it's honestly going to be a massacre because unless Derek Carr steps up in a huge way, which I don't see happening, the Chiefs defense has gotten significantly better over the season.
Last week it looked kind of suspect.
But again, they're playing down.
That's
right?
true.
They have to just win games.
Fantasy-wise, they were excellent last week, and I got crushed by them. I just need Calvin Ridley to have like 5 points.
It might happen.
No,
I mean, just watching Mahomes play, it just makes you realize how bad your quarterback is compared to Mahomes.
Yes.
Like, I think Dak is great, but Mahomes is.
All right, so we've got Chiefs
so
across the board. The Eagles going into Pittsburgh. So we got a battle of the Pennsylvania teams. Philadelphia actually won a game last week. The Pittsburgh Steelers actually looking good. Who do we got? We got Eagles meeting the Steelers this week, or the Eagles just going to stink it up again?
Well, does Pittsburgh have their receivers? What is the status on Juju? Juju's good. Johnson's good. Yeah,
Johnson looked good.
Yeah, I don't think that the Steelers are going to have trouble. They get a bye week last week, right? So,
yes.
Ben Roethlisberger, they're all rested, and I don't think Steelers will have any problem. Sorry, Josh. Our friend Josh from Club Fantasy came out to see us today.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
Hey. Any chance that the Eagles win any other games this year? Okay. I mean, in that division alone,
they may beat the Giants once.
Yeah. That's a good point too. That's a very good point. Do you think the Eagles will have a quarterback change mid-season? Okay. All right. I want to get that out of the way.
So Wentz has the most picks in the NFL. Wentz will suck a lot, is that we like to call him around here.
He took the mantle from Jameis Winston.
He does. But then other nuggets, we got the Steelers. I mean, so you would think because of those 7 picks that the Eagles are going to rely heavily on some Miles Sanders today. But the Steelers have not given up over 90 yards rushing in 3 years. So that's a stat they blitz. Yeah.
Is there any chance Wentz gets
since
benched
2017
for Hurts? No. Do we see more Jalen Hurts? Some trick plays, maybe? No Jalen Hurts.
Garbage time.
They blitz 60% of the time. Line is
60% of the time, 90% of the time, 60% of the time. What is it?
All right, so we're all going Steelers across the board.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, Steelers across the board. Okay, the LA Rams traveling to Washington to face the football team. Washington football team making a quarterback change. Dwayne Haskins, even though he made a little bit of progress last week, is going to be benched for Kyle Allen.
Not bench, third string.
I'm sorry.
he's
not even here. He's not even at the stadium today.
He's on the practice squad.
No, Alex Smith is still like recovering from 19 surgeries, and he is active. Yeah, and he's the backup. Dwayne Haskins went from starter to third string.
Kaylee, we had a little discussion about this before the game, before the show started. You kind of don't agree with this quarterback change.
I don't. I think you look at Dwayne Haskins, what they asked him to do is improve, right? You look at his stats last week against Baltimore, who that's not a fair matchup for them, right? So he puts up over 300 yards. He doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, he doesn't have a touchdown, but he also plays a clean game. and he did what you asked him to do. I think there's a lot of off-field issues, maybe maturity issues that they're dealing with.
He is from Ohio State.
I mean, to be
He's
fair,
great.
they don't do anything in the NFL, so
That's
I
true.
understand. But
Set all the records. Set all the records. Thank you for my shout out of the Ohio
I
State
know. I
University.
did it this time. I did this time.
But yeah, I just think at this point, I don't know what the play is. You asked him to improve. He improved. I mean, Kyle Allen last year, they benched him for Will Greer, which is egregious. So to put him back in and expect that he's going to turn around the season and win this division, I don't think is going to happen.
Egregious is such a good word
It
for
is.
the Washington football team. I'm so glad you used it.
So we talked about this before the game. I think they still think they have a shot somehow to win this division.
It's winnable.
It is winnable.
I mean, anybody can win
the one thing that they did improve on, and Haskins did improve on, is that they went from being last in the NFL on third down conversions last year at 29% to now they're at 33% on third down conversions, which is still last in the NFL. But they did improve.
Second
They did
last.
But
improve.
it's better.
They did improve.
But so did everybody else.
All right, Taylor, who do you got?
I'm definitely going whoever Washington's playing.
Okay,
The
gotcha.
Rams.
I think we're all Rams
The
across.
Rams are 4-0 though, right?
They
The
are.
Rams are
No, they're 3-1. They lost to the
Oh,
Bills.
yeah.
That's right. That's right. But they're quiet.
That's very true.
Yeah.
They have done that a lot.
You know, they've kind of played the same thing down to their competition, I feel like, too, but they're winning games. So I'm not sure about this Rams
I
team.
see
but
a
yeah.
big day out of Robert Woods. If you got him on fantasy, big day out of Robert Woods, and also, yeah,
Wow.
it's still Washington though. It always happens. All right, let's move on. The Cincinnati Bengals, who picked up their first win, are going against the Baltimore Ravens, a divisional game today. I don't think it's going to happen for win number 2 for Joe Burrow. I think they're going against the Baltimore
No,
Ravens.
but it's gonna be fun. Burrow versus Jackson. You know, the Lamar we see has progressed a little bit this year. You know, still great, but he's not the Lamar of last year. And
Lamar did come back to practice later on this week. He was not practicing early on because of the knee injury, but he is back at practice, so he is active today.
I just want to shout out the Cincinnati Bengals though for thank you for making my division like good again. Like these teams are all viable teams. So
From the Bengals, you're welcome, I
Thank you.
guess.
So you know that's not just the Browns and Bengals suck, and then the Steelers and Ravens are good. It's a competitive division now.
Yeah, and we've said this before that I actually like Joe Burrow, and I like actually watching him play because he's running around because his offensive line is terrible and he's making plays, and I just like watching
And
him play.
Joe
So
Mixon had monster game last week. Too.
Yeah,
He was out
touchdown.
there,
yeah, if only Sarah the bartender didn't put that 38 points on her bench, she could have traded me him.
Wait, she had Joe Mixon on her bench.
Wow.
Yeah, she has
Ooh.
eight. She has 8 running
Sarah,
backs.
I gotta coach you up on some things here.
I think
She has
she's
8
upstairs.
running backs.
Yeah, and she won't trade me one of them.
I,
I'm Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, you do. That's a good point.
I know.
Kaylee, any shot in
So,
the dark
yeah,
that the
Baltimore.
Bengals have against the Ravens? We have seen, looking at Joe Burrow, he's looking like he's he's progressing each week. Which is a good thing because we see most quarterbacks that are rookies each week they seem to regress.
Sam Darnold.
It's okay. We already know that. Baker Mayfield sometimes. Yes, Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
Not against us.
You
But,
mean Taylor's favorite player, Baker Mayfield?
Do you think that the Bengals will make this a competitive game today, or you see more of a blowout with the Ravens?
No, it's not going to be a blowout. I mean, look, they figured out T. Higgins. He's very involved. They got Joe Mixon involved in the passing game. So I think they're doing the right things. Not only is Joe Burrow trending the right way, but the team is, the coaching is. It's significantly improved since what we saw in the first couple weeks. So I think it's going to be a close game, a competitive game. Lamar won't be 100% even if he's active. So we're going to see a little less from Lamar on his feet probably. And that, I mean, it's going to be a fun game to watch. But
Josh, I got a question for you. When are we going to see a big game from Hollywood Brown? All right. If you got Hollywood Brown, plug him into your fantasy league. All right, let's go to it's Kaylee, it's your team.
Oh.
It's the Jacksonville Jaguars going to Houston to face the winless Houston Texans. Do Jacksonville get it done today and make the Bill O'Brien-less Houston Texans 0-5, or do the Houston Texans really step it up? Because usually when teams lose their coach, they win the next week. Does that happen today?
yeah, I mean, I think this is less of a surprising support of my home team for me because I do think that there are some people who do believe the Jags can win this game. Obviously, going away to Houston is usually where we shine against that team. So it is we can do it in the sense of Houston's running defense is actually pretty bad. They're not great at all, and we run the ball a lot, right? So
James
their
Robinson's
pass
been a
rush-
stud.
Right, their pass rush is pretty good, but again, if we can lean into the run, we can get James Robinson on his feet. I think we'll be okay, and I think both defenses are pretty terrible compared to the entire league. So it's going to be an offensive game. It's an over game. It's definitely a game that it's going to be fun to watch. They're going to score points, but I don't think the Texans are going to get the boost from the coaching change that we've seen with past teams just because of they're still the same team, right?
Taylor, if you're Deshaun Watson, how pissed are you?
I'm ecstatic, to be honest with you. I am super ecstatic that Bill O'Brien's gone, not calling the plays anymore, not get me murdered back there. I am super
He's
stoked.
still going to get murdered back there. Their
Yeah,
offensive
Not
line
like
sucks.
an offensive line got fired.
But you can
sucks.
actually call some plays that put him in a better situation not to get
Who's
murdered
the
back
interim
there.
coach there?
It's Romeo
It's
Crennel, the
Romeo
oldest
yeah.
coach
Boy.
in the league.
Your boy.
And my boy. I remember,
had
I remember,
some great-
yeah.
Horrible tenures as a head coach. All right.
Yeah, I'm most of America is picking Houston in this game, and I don't understand why. It's going to be the Gardner Minshew show today. I think Minshew is going to show out. You have Chark back, right, and he is the centerpiece of that passing game there. And I don't know why everyone in America is so high on Houston. Maybe it is that stat
Because
when he
it's
was
that
a coach.
stat, yeah.
They're
the
just
coach.
they're low on the Jags, and I think that happens more often than not.
Before the season started, I said I would not pick the Jags all year to win, and the last 2 weeks I picked them to win, and they've lost. So I'm going Houston today. I think everyone's been roasting Deshaun. He got paid, and everyone knows that Dak's better than Deshaun. So he's going to actually show up today. He's going to make some plays. He's going to run around. He's going to do some things, and he's going to find a way to beat the Jags because the Jags defense is looking rough, and especially if Henderson and Jack don't play today. Josh Allen's already out. Josh Allen's their best playmaker, I feel like. So,
All right, so
I'm
Taylor,
going
you
Houston.
got Houston. Kaylee,
Jaguars.
Jaguars?
Jags.
I'm actually going Jaguars, too. You might be
Whoa.
now, depending
Whoa!
I need you to
This
stay
is
with
like
Houston,
everyone
though.
picking the Bucks, and I picked the Bears.
Now, depending on what Chip picked, you are.
You act like you're so smart for that pick. You knew Tom Brady.
My
was
lock
gonna,
of the week
or-
was Bears plus 5.5. What happened? They won outright.
All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll go into the 4 o'clock games. This is Sports Caffeine live at Rafferty's Bar and Grill. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Yes, with Sports Caffeine live at Rafferty's Bar and Grill for our NFL pregame show. Make sure to stream us on fanstreamsports.com and match the app, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Anchor.fm. And of course, you can see us on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live. Yes, I'm still doing Sober October, and it's going pretty well, actually.
Really?
Yes.
11 days in. That's good.
11
How
days
are those
in.
non-alcoholic beers?
They taste
I
fantastic.
love spending $5 on non-alcoholic beers.
Right.
Listen, Coors has one. It's called Coors Edge. It's actually really good. Okay, don't knock it till
Can't
you
wait
try
to
it.
never drink it.
Don't knock it till you try it. Okay. So, thanks a lot, Taylor. We just lost our sponsor.
Oh,
Thanks,
darn
a
it.
lot. God,
Come
All right.
on, Crown.
So before we get into our 4:00 matchups, I want to talk a little bit about some fantasy football. Now,
Whoa.
COVID has really affected fantasy altogether this year. We've got bye weeks. We've got games being rescheduled. As all of us here are fantasy owners, how are you handling it?
So Yahoo does this thing now this year where they will send you a notification when someone adds or drops a player, any team.
Yes.
And I'm literally looking at these notifications like, who is this guy? This guy plays football? Like, I have no idea. It's like, like Chinese names. I have no
Jim,
idea,
the popcorn guy.
Yeah, like literally, it's like Dwayne Lindo. You know, Craig picked up Dwayne Lindo today. I'm like, oh, who are you playing for? Giants today? You know, like it's screwing me, especially as a Derrick Henry owner. I mean, between COVID and the injuries with no preseasons and stuff, it's really, really, really hard, especially at the running back position. So, but also we're seeing a lot of high scoring, which
Yes,
is
that's
also
true.
crazy. You know, it's like massive high scoring. So, I don't know. I'm stressed. I'm really
But
stressed.
you're also undefeated.
I am undefeated in the Rafferty's league. Yes, and I'm in 4th place in my other league and in my charity league.
So
we're
you
doing
shouldn't be
okay.
stressed at all. You should be okay.
I know. She was yelling at me last week. What do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, you're undefeated. Why are you
Quit
What
worrying.
you doing? What you're
What's
doing?
wrong? What are you talking about? Everyone, I'm about to
For-
talk to Trey
For
in last
team,
place.
for Taylor, for teams that are under 500, that are 1-3, or haven't even gotten a win yet, is it too late, or is it?
No, you need to start making some moves. I mean, especially in some of our leagues where, especially like our league here at Rafferty's, only 4 teams make the playoffs. So if you're
You gotta
not one of
make
those,
some moves.
if you're not one of those
Undefeated.
four out of 12, so if you're not one of those 4 teams, you need to start making some moves. Sarah, trade me one of your running backs. She has 8.
Sports Caffeine. Whoever's running
But
the
I am
Sports
3-1
Caffeine
in this league.
Facebook page is saying great jersey, Taylor. Whoever's on our Facebook page right now, it's not me, so it's somebody else. Probably Chip. Chip is probably on our page.
Oh, Chippy McSkippy.
Yes.
I like
But
it.
yes,
It looks good on you.
But I'm not.
Slimming.
Everyone's in the same boat, so everyone's on the same playing field when it comes to fantasy. So people that are bickering are usually the people in last place, except for Kristen, who's in first place and still bitches. So, but
I'm a
I'm.
perfectionist. What can I say?
But yeah, lots of high scoring, a lot of consistency from a lot of different people. Zeke's not having that great of a year fantasy wise, which is kind
I'm
of
gonna tell you,
surprising.
getting Aaron Rodgers in like the 12th round of every draft
Yep.
was fantastic.
I got him in
Everyone
my
was
I picked
sleeping
him
draft.
on
dead
Aaron
last.
Rodgers.
I picked him and
Kaylee, you're in the Fanstream Sports League. Your team is what? 1-3.
1-3.
1-3. So when somebody presents to you like an outrageous trade, should you not?
Did you guys go through
You
on that
said
trade?
No,
by the
we
way?
did not.
outrageous.
They did not accept my trade.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
He's pushing me way too hard for these trades. I don't trust him. Like, there's got to be a reason why you're like trying to convince
I'm giving
me.
you a lot for one person.
You're giving me a lot for the only good person on our team.
Shut up, Josh.
Yeah,
Stay in
you're
the
giving
peanut
me
gallery.
a lot of like
That's what I said.
semi-average receivers for like our best running back because we have Zeke and Chris Carson.
That's
so
true.
Zeke's not doing anything.
That's very.
And
You have no
want
wide
Chris
receivers though.
Carson.
You have no wide receivers.
Correct, but I mean,
But you should start making moves right now.
What kind of
Yeah, yeah,
receivers are
we
you
should
offering
make-
her
That's
though?
the- that's
the
So you
bottom
got
line.
Christian
Yeah, yeah.
Kirk or something?
Let's have our fantasy guy from Club Fantasy in our audience right now. Okay, so I offered Will Fuller, Hunter Renfrow, and Miles Gaskin for Chris Carson.
Thank
Shut your
you.
mouth.
Yeah,
I said-
I wouldn't
I said
either.
no as well.
no one
No.
thinks that should happen besides you.
Just because she's a girl, she's not stupid.
The
Thank
trade,
you.
I canceled the trade, so I canceled it on
What's that
my
on
own.
your
What
neck?
was the new one you sent?
That's true. Okay. Well, I was thinking about it. I might have to formulate another trade. I'll give up one of my best.
Also, your team
receivers.
kind of sucks.
I need you
your
to
team
suffer a
sucks.
little in these trades.
I
Like,
will- I
it's
will-
got to be a compromise.
Okay, I'll give away maybe one of my running backs, maybe one of
Okay.
my good
How
ones.
about-
Chris Carson's
Hey, Josh,
questionable every week and
Since
killing
we're
it every week.
since we're asking Josh, and I'm giving Sarah a lot of crap for her not trading me one of her 8 running backs that I don't have. I was offering her George Kittle. I have George Kittle. I was giving her George Kittle for. This is prior to last week for Joe Mixon and Josh Kelly, and she would not trade me that.
Yeah, that's a pretty
Oh.
good one. Yeah.
And she said
did
no.
not do the trade.
No,
What is her record?
1-3, and I'm 3-1.
Exactly. That's
I
why.
know,
That's
I know.
why. Okay.
Then I said, well, what about James Robinson and Josh Kelly for him. Nope. What about Jonathan Taylor?
Sounds like Sarah just hates you.
Yeah, well.
maybe she knows some things about you. That's why she doesn't want to trade.
She did win the league last year.
But she had help. She had help.
Oh, well.
She had help. I was there at the draft. She had help.
Yep.
Did you see her at this year's draft?
No, I
She
did
almost
not.
fell off a table.
Okay, well, that seems about right. All right,
Also, you had to leave early.
so all of us here for fantasy managers, we're all kind of struggling to pick up guys off the waiver wire. We're trying to figure out when these games are going to be played. You know, who should we plug in for weeks upon weeks? So it is actually kind of making yourself as a fantasy manager really step up your game when it comes to managing your fantasy football team this year. So I kind of like it, even though everything's kind of out of whack right now. So, all right, so let's go to our first 4 o'clock matchup. We've got the Miami Dolphins going against the San Francisco 49ers. Out west, they're traveling across west of California. Does Miami have a shot in the dark to win against the San Francisco 49ers?
I think they definitely have a shot.
Do we see Tua?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think so. San Fran just put another one of their starting corners on IR again. So Williams. So I think another hurt player. Their defense is going to be struggling. I think Fitzy's going to actually have a good game today. So I don't think they're going to actually have a reason to bring into it today. I think the game's going to be pretty close, but I'm going San Fran today.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to remind us all, like, why he's Ryan Fitzpatrick. And we're going to hear he went to Harvard probably 14 times. And he's going to probably
That's like
keep it
8 kids,
close.
too.
Yeah, he's going to keep it close like he does. We're not going to see Tua. I don't think we see Tua maybe for a couple more weeks. I mean, why bring him in? The guy is like glass. He's, his hips like break every time he does anything.
His hips don't lie.
His hips do not lie.
Do not lie.
And so why bring Tua in now? It's not like you're trying to compete for the division really or anything. So, but I think they do keep it closer than you think. Jimmy G is coming back today. I think Mo starts coming back today as well.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be a good game. And I'm taking 49ers.
Kaylee, do you agree with Taylor while he's saying, Ryan Fitzpatrick will have a good game with all the chest hair and the beard? Do you think he's going to have a good game against the 49ers?
Sure. I mean, at this point, who's
That's a
not
great
going to have
answer.
a good game against the 49ers? I mean, they're beat up. They've got a lot of people out. They're getting some people back, but not the ones that count. And I think, this is a week where Miami will keep it close. And I agree. I don't think we're going to see Tua. And I think that's almost a mistake because I think they're going to lose it in a close game. Whereas if you made that switch maybe at halftime or really stepped it up and switched the scheme, you might pull out a win.
Fitzmagic is fun to watch, though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of those things. Like I was watching the game last week, and he's 40 plus whatever years old, and that he is running for that first down on 4th down,
Sure.
and he is
He's got nothing to
diving
lose.
into 3
You
defenders.
got to remember, Fitzy's been in the league for a very long time. He's made a ton of money. At
He's
this
a
point,
gamer.
he just wants to have fun in the league. He's not there.
He's having fun.
He knows his role. He's like, look, I'm eventually going to get replaced by
I like
somebody.
that. I
I
respect
mean, he's
it.
just living in Florida. Yeah, Tampa, Miami. Like,
he
it's
is the
great.
epitome of Florida man. After that,
That beard must be hot.
dude.
Does he still have that?
he still has the beard. Wow. Yeah, he still has the beard. So, okay, so we've got pretty much everybody. Yeah, pretty much 49ers across the board for everybody. Anybody picking Miami?
No.
Nobody. Okay, cool. All right, another matchup going to the 4 o'clock game. The Indianapolis Colts traveling to your Cleveland Browns.
Me
Kristen.
and Taylor's Cleveland
Tatters.
Browns.
Oh, yes.
Our
Taylor,
Cleveland.
who's the biggest Cleveland Brown fans around.
Ugh. 12 straight losing seasons for those Browns.
Except they beat the Dallas Cowboys last week, and it was close. The score was closer than the game.
Kaylee, I'm gonna start with you. The Browns have really shown improvement the past couple of weeks. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders. Do you think the Browns will be able to take it to the Colts, who have a really good defense today in Cleveland?
Yeah, it's a really fun game. I can see why this is the highlight of the weekend. No one expected it to be, but
Let's say that again. This game is the
it's the highlight of the
weekend. Okay.
It should be the primetime game, to be honest. But it is. The Colts are a very different defense than the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have given up. They're in that bottom 3 of giving up yards, especially in the passing game. The Colts are very clean. They're disciplined on defense. They look good. They've consistently improved since week 1, losing to the Jaguars. And so I think you're going to see a close game. I still think the Browns are going to pull it out because I don't think they're going to miss, Nick Chubb as much as people think they will. But I do think that it's going to be offensive for them. They're going to have to outplay the Colts defense in the air. And it's going to be close, but I think they pull it out. So.
See, and I was nervous prior to the season. I picked the Colts to go to the Super Bowl, and after that first week, I was nervous. But since then, they've actually rounded into form. There's a lot of those things we talked about before with people, with a lot of teams getting their legs under them, getting some reps, without having a preseason. And the Colts look good. I mean, it's gonna be a game of in the trenches today. The Colts offensive line is so amazing. Like I said against the Cowboys, it's gonna be Myles Garrett against that offensive line. So I'm excited to see really that matchup and how it plays out. But ultimately, I'm going with the Colts.
Is T.Y. Hilton ever going to show up?
No, He's not.
Even when you're getting phone calls from your grandma telling you stink.
Yeah, remember we said he was gonna have a big game and he
Yeah,
didn't.
he did not have a game. He is still playing, yes.
And it's actually interesting because Phillip Rivers and Baker Mayfield are actually very comparable. They're just kind of managing games. You know, they're not throwing a lot of receptions, not having huge passing yards, but that's all they need to do. And so it's going to be a really interesting game. I think America's kind of split on this game of the week. Myles Garrett, though, man, what can I say about my boy? He is fired up this season. I think he was embarrassed with what happened last year, and he's ready to have a good, clean year. He had a great game against Dallas. You know, he's just playing out of his mind. I'm so glad I have this new jersey. So, of course, I'm taking my Browns today.
One betting nugget is that Indianapolis, every game this year has gone under, and they've also covered every spread.
And speaking of fantasy, Dearness Johnson was like the hottest guy in the waiver wire this week. I mean, yeah, didn't skip a beat. Our guy from South Florida here played behind Marlon Mack. Speaking of the Colts, here at USF. So Deontay Johnson, I'm excited. I think the Browns got this running game. It's just next man up.
Kaylee, it looks, I mean, OBJ had a huge game last week. Are we going to see the same again, or is OBJ going to have a quiet game? Because, I mean, this was like the first time in a long time we see vintage OBJ. Are we going to see vintage OBJ again, or are we going to see a quiet OBJ?
No, I don't think it's either, right? I think the Browns have figured out how to use him. They're not asking him to do too much. They're not trying to make him the superstar of the team. They're not trying to put everything on his shoulders the way they were when they first signed him. And I think now they've figured out what his role is. He's figured out what his role is. He's going to be, I think, consistently above average for the rest of the year. He's going to make some big plays, but he's going to do his job and do it well. And I think that's where his role is. That's where his slot is. And we're going to see him just continuously get better and play. I
tell you one thing, though. If Baker Mayfield goes down, Jarvis Landry should just
I think we
come
need
on in.
to change Chip's name to you are the most level-headed lady in the building. I mean, she has just got these opinions that are very level-headed, very smart.
That nickname with Chip was with the old show.
Okay.
This is the new
show.
The new show.
Okay.
Yeah, Jarvis definitely throws a better ball than Baker. That's for sure.
That's very
That was
true.
awesome. How fun! Like your best friend throws you a touchdown pass, and you're both wide
It was the
receivers.
cutest thing to happen.
Yeah, it really. And her purple and gold
My
hair.
heart was warm.
Yeah.
I would definitely not describe
Did
that.
anybody
Yeah, Taylor
make
thought it
a,
was cute too.
Did anybody make a meme with like the Titanic music
But they
playing?
should.
That would be. Let's get on that
Anybody
right now.
out there, please?
Yeah,
please.
do that right now. Okay, so Browns. I'm going Browns. Chris, of course, you're going Browns.
And our nugget
going
from
Colts.
Club Fantasy, Browns the only team in the NFL averaging more than 200 rushing yards per game. I think they had
Yeah,
300
they're-
against
yeah,
the Dallas Cowboys.
they're leading the league in rushing, so that's one good thing. I'm going Colts.
Going Colts, Kaylee?
Browns.
All right, I'm going Browns too as well. So you're maybe the lone wolf, depending on what you.
This is the week Taylor loses and goes down.
I really wish you are the last in pick'ems.
I'm in first place. I don't know.
You're tied for first.
by
No, I'm in
by
first
one
now.
game.
You're tied for first.
No, I'm in now after Thursday.
One game.
One game.
Official
A
standings.
win's a win.
All right. So let's go to an NFC least matchup. Dwayne Lindo's in our audience. Your Giants are going to be playing Taylor's Dallas Cowboys, who look a mess too
Little
as well.
Giants.
Yes, little Giants, but also little Cowboys too
It's
as
a
well.
Jason Garrett revenge game.
Yes. Giants, Cowboys. These teams need to figure it out for this NFC least matchup. Who do we got in the Giants and the Cowboys? Taylor, I'm going to go to you last. So, Kristen, who we got?
What's the over in this game? Because I'm going to say take it. 54. Okay. And I'm going to take the Cowboys. Yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb looks great. Dak's, firing on all cylinders. They can't really figure out how to win, but the offense really looks good. The defense is terrible. So, high scoring game. But I'm taking the Cowboys, the Giants. No Saquon. You guys are just sorry.
Kaylee.
134, 2 touchdowns.
Kaylee, your boy Danny Dimes. You've been high on Danny Dimes
Danny
all season
Pesos.
long. Danny Pesos. I'm sorry.
I was high on Danny Dimes prior to this season, but
Pesos.
With the addition of Devontae Freeman, can the run game get it going against that porous Dallas Cowboys offense or defense?
they'll get something going. But the Dallas defense is pretty terrible. But against the Giants, I think they'll be okay. They'll be okay. It's gonna be tough for the Giants.
Taylor, I need you to state your case for the Dallas Cowboys. If they lose today,
They can't. There's no excuse.
But if I'm talking about an if. Yeah. If they lose, what needs to be done? Whose heads are going to roll if they lose against the Giants today?
Mike Nolan's going to lose some responsibilities, if not his job, if they lose today, I think. But we get Anthony Brown back today. I know that's not a big name, and no one really cares about that, but we'll take any secondary help that we can get, giving up one of the most yards of the game in the passing game. The Giants, though, are the second worst rushing team in the league with only 306 yards. I'm obviously picking the.
You were about to do a big sigh when you were about to say something. You're like,
I'm just.
Are you and Dwayne Lindo making a bet?
I feel like we should win this game by about 40, but
you seem nervous. You seem nervous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I
they
just want to win.
scored.
So it's one of those things.
You seem nervous about this game.
I'm not at all,
Okay.
actually.
That
But it's one of
voice
those
crack,
things.
That voice
Dak
It
Dak
did.
has the second most fantasy points this year, 1 point behind Russell. So Giants are just bad, man.
That should be a tie.
Oh,
Another tie. This
I'm,
year.
oh my god, I have to wait all day for this game too. It's gonna be the worst.
all right.
if
So we
lose.
got Dallas across the board for this game. The Minnesota Vikings are traveling kind of across country to play the Seattle Seahawks, who Russell Wilson is in that conversation for MVP of the year so far. Vikings kind of turning it around a little bit, but do they have a chance against the Seahawks and their crappy defense? They're one of the worst defenses in the league, giving up a lot of points, but the Seahawks tend to win games because, well, their offense is great as well. Who do we got in the Vikings and Seahawks game? Kristen?
I think the Vikings are going to still score a lot of points. Dalvin Cook looks really good. The emergence of Justin Jefferson there. I'm
Huge
surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised they
fantasy.
didn't use. Yeah, it's helping Kirk Cousins out a lot. They are scoring, but yeah, like you said, Russell Wilson finds a way to get done. They're going across country to Seattle. Chris Carson, I was telling him, plays questionable like every week and then like goes off. So I'm taking the Seahawks in this one.
Yeah, the Dalvin Cook definitely holding out at the beginning of the year, definitely showing the reason why he's leading the league in rushing. So, and last week, oh my God, he was just running over people, running.
And I
through
was worried about
people.
him being injury prone. And then look at all the other running backs that are out. You know,
Exactly. It's just one of those things. I'm going with Seattle today. Just because they're good. I mean, Russell Wilson is just making it happen. Thielen's stepping up big in the passing game, and he's showing why, he can be a number one. He catches everything. But I'm going Seattle today. Russell Wilson making things happen, being the MVP. Or Josh, who are you going? Who's the MVP? Who are you thinking?
We got
Russ, it
Russell,
has to be
Yeah.
Russ.
Josh Allen. You could
Josh
put
Allen.
Aaron Rodgers in that conversation.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, I think, moved into the second place.
literally, me and you
over.
were playing wide receiver for the Packers last week. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is amazing.
Okay. So you've got the Seahawks. Kaylee, what do you got?
I have the Seahawks. I'm not going to start betting against Russell Wilson now, but I do think the Vikings are hitting their stride.
Yeah, they're improving.
It's going to be a close game. Dalvin Cook is going to go off again, but the Seahawks are going to pull it out.
But it's one of those things that we talked about just because the last week we talked about how, Seahawks defense bad, in the back end, but they're one of those teams that makes those opportune plays at the right time to get their offense back on the field. They make that key turnover at the right time, and even though they're getting burned all game, between the 20s, they make the plays when
a
they
win
need
is a
to.
win.
All right. So we've got Seahawks across the board, but, you never know. The Vikings could make this a shootout.
I can see. I
This is
I wouldn't be
upset.
surprised
There
if
could
the
be an
Vikings
upset.
win.
All right, so the Denver Broncos and New England game was postponed because people keep getting COVID for those teams. So that game will be played in a couple weeks. We're going to go to the Monday night game, which is the LA Chargers against the New Orleans Saints. Who we got in the Monday night game?
I want to say the Saints, but the way the Saints have been playing this year, I can almost see the Chargers. But losing Austin Eckler was huge, so that's why I'm thinking. And then you said Michael Thomas might be back.
He's
back. Questionable. So I'm just going to take the Saints. It's at home in New Orleans, and losing Austin Eckler was too big. But I really do like what Justin Herbert's doing. And the Chargers are surprising me this year.
Yeah, I'm going Saints. Herbert's been playing good, surprising to me because I thought he was not good in college. So
He has actually been the named the starter for here on out.
saw that.
Or Tyrod Taylor.
I just picked him up at
Poor
one
Tyrod's
gonna
gonna
get a huge
This is
payout.
his role. This is
Yeah.
what Tyrod is meant to do.
Yes.
Is get
Start
benched for a
seasons and
rookie.
then get
But
not
plus,
finish
Tyrod's
them.
going to get a lot of money from the Chargers organization for getting stabbed. So,
But
That's fine.
Kamara's just like I said about Dalvin, holding out. Kamara got paid for a reason, and he's showing why. He's just amazing, running over, running through. They're running their offense through him, and just like we said last week, even if you game plan to stop Kamara, it doesn't matter. He's still going to make it happen.
I want to thank my fantasy league for letting him drop to 9th. In
Wow,
the first
what
round.
league was that?
The league I've been in for a long time, 9th in the first round. I got
Wow.
Kamara. So thank you guys.
A lot of Bucks fans probably in that league.
No.
Oh. Okay, but I'm going Saints. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers win. Actually, this
I think
game,
it's going to be close. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be like a 21-24 kind of.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that. But
Kaylee,
I-
with that backfield with the Chargers, with Austin Eckler out, you've got Josh Kelly, you've got Justin Jackson. Who's going to take the lead reins on that backfield for the Chargers?
I see Justin Jackson having a big game. That's who I would, if I was going to coach that team, that's who I would put up. But they're just not going to get it done. As much as it's a fun game to theorize about, just like the Vikings, it could be an upset game, and I wouldn't be overly surprised just with Justin Herbert playing how he has and wanting to get that win. But I just have to go Saints. I don't know.
yeah, as that game progressed last week, that Chargers game, they started playing Jackson more
Yeah.
over Kelly, and he was actually a lot more productive.
For sure.
Yeah, he was the other waiver wire guy that was
Yes.
everyone was trying to grab last week, and I didn't get either.
All right, before we close it out, we are going to go to.
Well, 'cause I'm so good, I can't get a waiver. You know.
We actually get to have Tuesday night football at
Whoa.
7 o'clock.
I'm
Tuesday night
excited
football.
about it. I
Maybe
love
the
it.
Titans
love
can
it.
pull it
I want a
together.
game every day.
I want Wednesday.
I want every
Wednesday.
day.
So we've got the Buffalo Bills going into Tennessee. Hopefully, no more tests for the Tennessee Titans that go positive. So we've got the Bills going in against the Titans. So who we got? Josh Allen is in the conversation for MVP. The Bills look good, have been looking good all year. So who do we got? Bills
Yeah,
or Titans
I'm
for,
curious
for
what the
Tuesday
spread
night?
on this game.
Two
Who's-
undefeated teams.
Who's favored in this game? To be honest, Is
Bills
anyone-
by 4.
Bills by 4. That's why I saw America's picking.
America's
a lot more
picking the Titans,
which
actually,
is
in this
surprisingly.
Bills by 8.5. I'm sorry.
Wow,
Wow.
that is a very very big
That's too big
spread.
of a spread. I feel.
Way too
Yeah,
big.
I would definitely take the Titans for the spread, but
Bills
I'm going to take
don't-
the Bills. Yeah. Bills just-
I'm also taking the Bills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kaylee?
I'm taking the Bills. Like I said, I don't bet on the Titans, and they're out there. They're out there hosting like high school practices together after being told not to. They haven't really gotten a cohesive practice in. They're struggling, and I think organizationally they're kind of off their game. And again, I just don't believe in them at all. So I like Josh Allen. I like.
What about
I,
Tannehill?
well, I mean, we
They
did
won't.
run,
No. What?
we ran into
Tannehill?
Mike
He's
Vrabel at like
efficient.
1:30 in the morning at the combine,
That's true.
wasted at
He was
hammered at
Yeah.
Kilroy's, and then
So
Mike
we,
Vrabel. I chased him
Oh,
down.
so
at
I love
Kilroy's.
Mike Vrabel.
we went to the combine last year. We went to Kilroy's, which where we were staying at was basically adjacent to where we were staying was Kilroy's, and Vrabel was there just hammered.
And it's just an entourage and a slew of
Hammered.
women, and
Oh,
oh yeah, he was enjoying it.
Oh man, him and Taylor Lewan must.
Oh, party it up. All right, so we've got all across the board the Buffalo Bills winning on Tuesday night football. Tuesday night football.
That's gonna be a good game though.
I can't wait.
I'm excited for that game.
That might be the highlight of the week. This game instead of the Colts Browns
No,
game. No,
This is the 8.5 is huge because the Bills, like we said, play down. They don't get that far ahead, but they're going to win the game.
All right, so we get Bills across the board. Okay, so if you guys will
So
stay.
it pretty much just sounded like you guys agreed on every single game, and there's only a couple games that
Couple
I was
games.
different on.
You can't be the lone wolf winner 3 times
Yeah.
in the same week. Like
Well, I
you're
looked
gonna
at
lose
this
some of the
this slate of games this week, and I was like, oh well, this is an easy pick. Like
Yeah.
the Falcons Panthers game was like my hardest pick of the week. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a hard 1-2 pick.
Colts
Well,
Browns.
I think Falcons Panthers was my hardest too.
Yeah, that might be the one. Okay. All right. So if you guys stick around a little bit afterwards, we've got Kaylee doing her punishments. She's going
Oh.
to profess her love
Profess.
and a sonnet.
and a poem sonnet to Blake Bortles.
Blake
So
Bortles.
stay tuned. That'll be coming
Is
up.
he one
after
of the
show.
3 at UCF?
No.
That's an inside joke.
Of course, this is Sports Caffeine. We are live at Rafferty's Bar and Grill for our NFL pregame show. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and follow us on Facebook at Sports Caffeine 1 and also at Sports Caffeine on Facebook. You can stream us on fanstreamsports.com, Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. And you can also go and watch us on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live and Periscope. So,
Dwayne, who's winning that game today? Dallas. All right.
Look on his face.
Dwayne Lindo.
I want $50 when you win.
What game was that? 51.5. Dwayne Lindo. You heard it here
All right,
first.
heard it here
Taking the
first.
over.
all right, make sure to go to manscaped.com and use our code SC2020 to get 20% off and
All
free
right.
shipping. Manscaped.com, proud sponsor of Sports Caffeine. We will see you guys on Tuesday for our next show. It has been Sports Caffeine. We
See you
will
guys Tuesday.
See you all later.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
for listening to another episode of Sports Caffeine. Available for streaming on fanstreamsports.com and Fanstream Sports, the app.